Hi everyone, I'm Bill Rosinski. Welcome to another edition of Sports Night here at South End Brewery. We're at the South End Brewery on South Boulevard, right outside Uptown Charlotte. Our focus at the beginning of this show is a former NFL player. He's now a musician, getting into movies. He's doing a lot of good things. Played with the Carolina Panthers, the Rams, and the Redskins, Sean Gilbert. Sean, good to see you. It's been a long time.
Good to see you too, Bill.
Let's start with your NFL career. When you look back at it, how would you summarize it? Did you do everything you wanted to do? Did you enjoy the 11 years in the National Football League?
I loved the 11 years that I played in the National Football League. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Naturally, when you play and you compete, you always want the ultimate prize, and that's to win a Super Bowl. So with that being said, you can only do it as a team, not as an individual. So that would be the one thing that I missed out on. But apart from that, I love my career. I enjoyed giving everything I had when I played, and I can always look back and say I left nothing.
You had the opportunity to play for all three coaches that the Panthers have had so far. First, it was the last year of Dom Capers.
Is that a good opportunity?
Well, I was going to ask you that question. When you got here, Dom Capers was still the head coach. He was fired after that 98 season. George Seifert came in, and then John Fox. Let me ask you about each of those guys. Dom brought you here.
Yeah.
And what stood out about Dom and your arrival with the Panthers?
Well, you know, and I think that Carolina was just the place that I was meant to come to. I think team-wise, I thought at the time the nucleus of the team was a team that was really on the verge of really contending in the playoffs and fighting for a Super Bowl bid. The scheme was an aggressive defensive scheme that you maximized all the athleticism that you had in your players. And I'd always been on teams where I was the only player, so never really having to help. All teams had to do was double team me, and they could pretty much isolate and get what they wanted. So, plus as you had Kerry Collins, despite any other things, he was a heck of a quarterback, a gunslinging arm, and you had a veteran squad that knew how to win.
So then George Seifert arrives, a different personality, that's for sure. What do you remember about those 3 years? What stood out the most?
Well, those years were a little bit difficult because you didn't have the support overall as far as wanting to win it right away. And even though the first year he came in, I believe we were either 8-8, we were fighting for the playoff spot. But it wasn't, you know, it was a little bit unfortunate. Without trying to be negative about it, you wish you had a coach that was a lot more aggressive, that saw the talent that we had on the team and would have utilized it.
Then obviously John Fox came in and you saw that change over, and he was certainly a different guy than George Seifert was.
Well, I'm old now, so by the time John Fox was in, I done had about 9 surgeries, repairing, just fighting through all of the other off-season and the years and that. And I think John Fox is an excellent football coach. He's a football mind. He knows talent. He knows how to scheme. He knows how to adjust. I don't think you're going to get better than that in the National Football League right now. At the age he's at, he can pretty much be here for the next 10 years and call his own shots. I think he's a heck of a coach.
When you got to the Panthers, you were franchised by the Redskins. Mm-hmm. So the Panthers had to give up 2 number 1 picks. Mm-hmm. And then there was the contract. And there were a lot of people who seemed, and I remember those days, for some reason they blamed you for that. And you weren't responsible for the team offering you the multi-million-dollar deal and giving up the 2 number 1 picks. Did you ever feel that resentment from the fans that, hey, we gave up 2 number 1s and it's your fault?
Well, for someone to say it's your fault, they know nothing about football. And I say that from my heart because to understand the game, and actually Carolina gave up a 1st and a 2nd round draft pick. If you remember, we drafted Jason Peters in the 1st round the same year I was there. So with that being said, but you don't look at, when someone looks at the money and they don't look at the product they're getting. And at the time, me being one of the highest paid players, which was rightfully so, I was the best in my position at the time. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have given up the draft picks. I wouldn't have been franchised, and it wouldn't have been, all of the uproar about the whole situation. But all in all, it's okay. You know, you got to take it as it comes. You can't complain about it. You got to be a man about it. Everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to agree with decisions you make, and everybody's not going to support you when you make decisions. But in the end, you live with the decisions you make. I played as hard as I could. There's not a guy to come in and don't play football for a whole year and get almost 100 tackles, 6 sacks, and 25 quarterback hurries. So I was comfortable with dealing with the criticism because I knew my game was totally opposite of anything that anyone said.
And you came into a defense, and Dobbs was a 3-4, where usually the linebackers were making all the plays. But you felt comfortable coming in that situation?
I'm an amoeba. I can adapt to whatever's going on. You know, the thing with me was that, I could run like a linebacker, and I could play strong like a defensive lineman. And you utilize that. That's why sometimes they would stand me up. We would move around and so forth. I think Dom have a heck of a scheme, and it's been proven over the years. I mean, he's always in the top with Vic Fangio and those guys. They scheme teams excellent, and they utilize talent. Unfortunately for us, it was at a time when I was $46.5 million, so everybody's expecting me to make every single play. And even when I made every single play, it still wasn't enough. So, you can't do nothing about that. So that's the way it goes.
Do you miss the game?
I love the game, so I'll always miss it. I'll always miss playing in the NFL. If God healed my body right now, I'd be the baddest thing to hit the field since Julius Peppers.
Yeah, he's kind of do you follow it week by week or? No.
My life is encompasses a lot of other things now where I don't even see a lot of the games on Sunday. I go to church with my family. By the time we get home, it's 3 o'clock. You watch some of the game, and then you have other things to do. And I love the game. Sometimes I think I may go back some years later, maybe get into some coaching, but maybe only on a high school level. There's too many politics in the NFL, and it's a who's club, so it makes it very difficult. I don't think I'd have a problem getting in it because my expectations that I've always had for myself are the same ones I would put on anyone else, and that's only to be the best at what you do.
Let's talk about what you're involved in now. As your career ended, did you have any idea you would get into music, which you're into right now?
Well, I had no idea that it would be this great. The music would be as awesome as it is. If you'd have said what's the A flat and the G sharp, I'd have just said I don't know. Last I checked, those were holes that were on offensive and the defensive line. But it's been overwhelmingly phenomenal. It's been a great blessing in learning the music game. I started writing back in '95, so I knew it was something I wanted to pursue when I was done, and I wanted to be smart about it because it's not something most athletes. And most perception of athletes toward people to athletes is that they just have money to blow, so they experiment with a lot of these things. And they drop the $100,000 or whatever it is into it. It didn't work, and they keep going. And my approach hasn't been that. I try to be studious about it. I try to really learn every day. I call people, I ask questions. I just signed a group that's going to perform next week called Kenny Curry and New Spirit. It's a gospel group. I have an R&B group that I'm getting ready to leave here and go, and we're getting ready to finish their first single. I just did the football jingle that we sent off to EA Sports, NFL Network, called the End Zone Scoop. So we have a lot of irons in the fire, and I also have my own project that I'll be releasing towards the middle of the summer, getting ready for the fall. Which really I'm just on there going, hut, hike, hike, hike. I'm making football innuendos. So. But it's been wonderful. And at this place in my life, if you said, would you go play football or would you do music? I would tell you I do music.
So you're a singer and a producer. And what's the name? Do you have a label?
Yeah, the label is called Obadiah Records.
Okay.
And the label kind of fell behind the name that I had riding. My artist name was Obadiah. So, and it means worshiper of Jehovah. So that's what followed Obadiah Records. I'm also affiliated with another music label that's called Zamar Music. And we do recordings right out on Beam Road. So if anyone's interested in jingles or anything of that nature, we're right there. We got an okay studio. It's a step up from the basement.
Tell us about, now you're also going to get involved in movies too?
Well, I mean, that's one of those, the Waikiki cowboy things. So that's an Ansel Brown deal. Yeah. And Ansel was a great friend of mine, and he decided that I should play this part in this movie where I'm pretty much going to just be beating him up the whole time. I don't even know what his role is going to be. I mean, apart from, he's going to spend a lot of time in makeup, getting black eyes, and, I'm going to practice about 9 pass rush moves on him throughout the movie.
Well, it sounds like fun anyway. All right, now I've got a note here. You have a cleaning system, the Waka Wave, is that right?
I mean, what aren't we doing, right? What aren't we doing? Well, my wife and a hairdresser invented this machine that cleans Marcel irons. Marcel irons are irons that are used in a lot of African Americans' hair. And what happens is that as they're using it and they use the chemicals, it chars. And it's very difficult for them to clean. It takes a lot, there's a lot of fumes involved that messes up their lungs. There's a lot of time consumption. It's very nasty. So we developed this machine that cleans the irons, and you just drop them in. This ultrasonic cleaning that heats up to about 140 degrees in 5 minutes, and it knocks the char off. It breaks it up, and it also cleans jewelry. It also cleans clipper heads. We're testing it on costume jewelry, which no one really cleans, but it's done a phenomenal job with that. And we're getting ready to test gun barrels, handgun barrels, and there's maybe 2 or 3 other things we're going to test it. So we're just trying to get everything in place so when we send it out for marketing that we can cover all bases.
Wow, quite the entrepreneur. Now, tell me about your son. Deshaun is a pretty good football player? Chip off the old block?
Whatever. Well, I think I've watched this kid play, and, apart from him being my son, just looking at him, I think his upside is just tremendous. He's got a lot of his mom's genes in him, so he's where I'm light in the legs, he's very strong in the legs, and I think he's got a great mentality. He's just got the it factor, and I mean he's a heck of a football player. I mean, I really, it's like I watch him and you get those chills, and you're like, man, you're proud of him. But if he sees this, I just want you to know, I think you stink. You're nowhere close to where you could potentially be. So,
it just sounds like you're loving life right now. It couldn't be better.
Well, you know what? You got to take one day at a time. Be grateful. Try not to put too much pressure on yourself, and just go with the punches, man. It's not gonna. I mean, I can tell you a lot of things that aren't going the right way right now. We can sit here and I'll take my glasses off and, and then you'll be going to cutting a commercial for the next hour. So.
Sean Gilbert, great seeing you, Sean.
Bill,
and
awesome
continued success.
Thank you, sir.
You had a great NFL career, and it sounds like everything's coming up roses for you.
We're just getting started.
Sean Gilbert, our guest here on Sports Night. We'll have more on this show, so stay right there.
Sports Night at South End Brewery is brought to you by South End Brewery and Smokehouse, offering fine cuisine, custom crafted beers, and the #1 microbrewery in the South. And by Imbo Furniture, Scandinavian and contemporary designs.
You don't have to be this fit to read Charlotte Health and Fitness magazine, but let Charlotte Health and Fitness magazine help you maximize your active lifestyle. Every month, CHF readers enjoy features on the best places to get fit, look great, and have fun. CHF is now available for home or office delivery. For a limited time, visit chfmag.com and sign up to receive your complimentary copy today.
Welcome to Stressless, the recliner that lets you create your own personal comfort zone. with a smooth reclining glide system that eases your body into the perfect position for total relaxation, plus full lumbar support and a headrest that adjusts automatically. Stressless. Relax your body, free your mind.
Come, experience Stressless at Inbo Furniture in Cornelius. Sports Night at South End Brewery is brought to you by South End Brewery and Smokehouse, offering fine cuisine, custom crafted beers, and the #1 microbrewery in the South. And by Inbo Furniture, Scandinavian and contemporary designs.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Bill Rosinski. Welcome to another edition of Sports Night. We're at South End Brewery on South Boulevard, just outside Uptown Charlotte. We're going to talk a little baseball tonight first. And joining me is the Vice President, General Manager of the Charlotte Knights, AAA baseball team of the International League, Dan Rakowski. Dan, good to see you.
Glad to be here. Thank you, Bill.
Let me first, the beginning of a baseball season, as much as maybe football has taken over as the national pastime, maybe you would disagree, but there's something about opening day, springtime, baseball, and it's that time of year again, and it's a special feeling, isn't it?
Well, it really is. I think today it hit me as I walked through the stadium and I had to take a detour and go out on the field, see the grounds crew working, and the ballpark looks in great shape. But it's the beginning